Missing even one deep dive could leave you completely unprotected the next time you face an aggressive authority figure. Don't wish you knew this information after it's too late. The exact moment you lift a smartphone and start recording an authority figure, you aren't just turning on a camera. You are triggering a severe psychological emergency. Why does a person who seemed completely calm and professional a second ago suddenly unravel the moment a lens points at them? Why do they threaten arrests, invent fake laws, or desperately demand that you turn it off? It has almost nothing to do with privacy and everything to do with panic. Today, we are exposing the deep behavioral psychology behind the exact moment control fails, and why desperate authority figures absolutely fear your phone. To truly understand this reaction, we look at a fundamental sociology concept known as the Panopticon. Historically, prisons were built so a single hidden guard could observe any inmate at any given time. Because the inmates never knew exactly when they were being watched, they were forced to police their own behavior at all times. In the modern world, the smartphone has entirely inverted this dynamic, creating a reverse panopticon. When an aggressive official, a power-tripping manager, or a hostile bureaucrat interacts with you, they operate under the comfort of situational dominance. They assume they are the sole authors of the narrative because they hold the institutional props, the uniform, the badge, the clipboard, or the keys. But the moment you raise a smartphone, you shatter that comfort. You introduce an objective, permanent, and unforgiving third-party observer into the space. The phone instantly strips away their monopoly on the truth, forcing their brain to realize that their actions will no longer be buried in a typed report, but will instead be judged by a completely unbiased global audience. That sudden, violent shift from absolute control to absolute observation causes immediate psychological panic. The second layer of this fear runs even deeper into human behavior: the threat of de-anonymization. Within any institutional hierarchy, bad actors rely heavily on the collective shield of their organization to hide their personal behavior. When they act aggressively, they hide behind the identity of the management, the department, or the board. They subconsciously believe the institution will absorb the liability of their actions. Your phone completely destroys that shield of anonymity. It threatens to extract them from the safety of the collective and tie their specific face, their tone, and their exact words to their personal reputation permanently. When an official panics and commands you to stop recording, what their subconscious mind is actually screaming is, "I cannot handle the personal accountability of the world seeing how I treat people when I think no one is watching." They aren't trying to protect public safety, property regulations, or corporate privacy. They are trying to protect their own career and identity from public scrutiny. Furthermore, a phone camera completely breaks what psychologists call the dominance script. Dictatorial figures rely on a highly predictable behavioral sequence to maintain order. First, they project high-status body language and issue an aggressive demand. Next, they expect you to experience an involuntary spike in anxiety. Finally, they expect your fear to result in immediate compliance. This script has been reinforced throughout their entire career because most people naturally choose path of least resistance compliance to avoid conflict. But look at what happens when you alter that sequence. When you respond to an aggressive demand by calmly raising a phone, maintaining a relaxed posture, and remaining quiet, you completely disrupt the script. By refusing to show fear, anger, or submissiveness, you communicate absolute psychological stability and an awareness of your rights. Because the human brain does not know how to handle a compliance challenge that isn't loud, emotional, or combative, their internal processing system short-circuits. Unable to compute your lack of fear, they experience a massive spike in cognitive dissonance. To overcompensate for this internal collapse, they double down on absurdity. They speak louder, repeat the same phrases, make grander threats, and become visually frantic, because the illusion of their absolute power is actively evaporating in real time. So, how do you master this interaction when the camera is rolling and the psychological pressure is at its peak? You do not fight them with their own weapons. Instead, you let the lens do the heavy lifting by adhering to 3 strict tactical rules. First, you must maintain total emotional neutrality. Never yell, never mock, and never match their frantic, chaotic energy. When an authority figure is screaming and you respond with absolute, unshakable calm, the contrast on video is devastating. Your piece highlights their desperation, making it blindingly obvious to any supervisor, judge, or audience exactly who lost control of the situation. Second, prioritize narration over argument. Do not get dragged into a debate about specific legal case law or corporate handbooks on the street. Instead, simply state the objective facts clearly for the audio recording, so there is zero room for misinterpretation later. Say exactly what is happening. I am standing peacefully on a public sidewalk. I am not blocking traffic, and you are threatening me with arrest for recording video. You are effectively writing the court transcript in real time. And third, let the silence speak. Once you have clearly stated your legal position and asked your stabilizing questions, stop talking. Human beings naturally detest dead air and will desperately try to fill it. Let their frantic excuses, fabricated rules, and emotional reactions fill that silence on your tape. The smartphone camera is the ultimate equalizer of the 21st century. It does not just protect your civil liberties, it exposes the fragile nature of unearned authority. Hold the line, document reality, and never let a manufactured illusion of power override your fundamental rights. If you found value in this breakdown, please share this video with someone who needs to see it, and subscribe to the channel right now so you never miss a vital strategy on how to stand your ground. I'll see you in the next video.